Back, Mike Cernovich, Cernovich.com, here to report on the media's cover-up of the biggest story of the day. This story has everything. This story has a attack on murder of gay people, a brown Muslim woman framed, FBI cover-up, prosecutorial misconduct. This is the biggest story of the day. And if you scroll around media Twitter, liberal Twitter, you're not going to see this story. You're going to see it only from a few people. And the reason the fake news media is refusing to report on this is because this happened under Comey's watch. This happened under Mueller's watch. What is that story today? Well, we have now learned during the criminal trial of Omar Mateen's wife, who, by the way, it now appears is innocent. So I had reported when Omar Mateen's wife had been charged, I had reported on that. So I think now that she is actually innocent, or at the very least, there is not enough evidence to convict beyond a reasonable doubt. So I want to let you guys know that right away. It appears the wife is not guilty. Who is guilty? Comey and Mueller. So let's go ahead and read these official court filings, which, by the way, this was not disclosed. This was not disclosed until 12 days of the trial. 12 days in trial. So this is a prosecutorial misconduct too. So where's the American Civil Liberties Union? Where is the SPLC to report on a Muslim woman being wrongly prosecuted? Where is the ADL to report on this hate crime against, because I would say falsely accusing a woman of a crime is pretty darn big hate crime. Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree that falsely accusing a Muslim woman of a crime, attempting to throw her into prison for the rest of her life, wouldn't you agree that that's a little bit more of a hate crime than a mean tweet, than a bad joke, than a dog throwing up a salute? And yet we cannot find the ACLU, the ADL, the SPLC, CARE, none of these organizations that supposedly defend the rights of Muslims. Nobody wants to talk about it. But the big white Mike Cernovich guy out there is standing up for the rights of everyone, because I believe in the constitutional rights of everyone, regardless of your race, gender, religion. If you're in America, you're protected by the Constitution. And this is doubly so if you charge with crime. So let's go ahead and read this filing. Sadiq Mateen, Omar Mateen's dad, was an FBI confidential human source at various points between January 2005 and June 2016. As a result of the discovery of this receipt, so he had a bunch of money, was plotting an attack. According to these documents, in order to attack the government of Pakistan. That's a pretty big story. I mean, wouldn't you say this is a pretty big story? And then wouldn't you think it's a big story that a prosecutor had lied? As we reported last week, DOJ prosecutors got caught lying about a key point in the case. FBI knew that the statement they coerced Mateen's wife into signing was false, but they never told the judge. 700 retweets, and most of those are to me. I mean, think about that. If you're Comey and you put some little, mean girl or mean boy breakup tweet up, 100,000 retweets. But if you're actually a real journalist doing real journalism, man, media Twitter don't want to hear about that. They don't want to talk about this, and I'll prove it. I'll go ahead and prove it. Let's go see what Brian Stelter is reporting on. Brian Stelter is reporting on Trump's approval ratings. So I bet you will find Stormy. I haven't read his Twitter, so I'm not looking at it. We're going to look at it live. I bet you Brian has talked about Stormy Daniels, and I bet he has not talked about this case, the Mateen case. But maybe I'm wrong. I haven't read his Twitter yet, so let's just go ahead and read his Twitter. Okay, we have a story about Trump's approval rating. We have a story about Dow. We have a story about the Avenatti, that Stormy Daniels is a lawyer. We have a story about ratings for 60 Minutes. We have a story about data. And I don't see anything about the Mateen case. The Pulse nightclub shooting. Are you seeing anything about the Pulse nightclub shooting here on Brian's? Maybe I'm, just not a good visionary. Can't see. So now he's talking about 60 Minutes, ratings. There he goes again. Stormy Daniels, big story, big whoop. And Trump followed, then unfollowed CNN. Nothing, though, on a Muslim woman being framed by the FBI. Well, that's fascinating, right? Isn't that interesting how they don't want to cover that story? Well, why not? Why don't they want to cover it? Well, they don't want to make Comey or Mueller look bad, right? Comey and Mueller, these guys are heroes, man. You shine their shoes, fetch the shine box. So they got nothing on the most important story of the day, which is the FBI's complicity in the Pulse massacre. So this is just yet another example of how bad we have it in America. We do not have a real media. We have garbage, fake news, really important stories. They just don't want to talk about. I mean, this is a huge, huge story. It appears that Omar Mateen's father also played a significant role in the FBI's decision not to seek an indictment against Mateen for obstructing justice. Additionally, the government has disclosed that Mateen was under FBI investigation based on statements he made at work. The government has repeatedly failed to disclose that his father had played a significant role in that investigation. In light of the government's disclosure, we can now infer Mateen's father played a significant role in the FBI's decision not to seek an indictment from the Justice Department for false statements to the FBI for obstruction of justice against Omar Mateen. I mean, there you have it, folks. If the FBI had done their job, the Pulse nightclub shooting would not have happened. If the FBI, it's right here, folks. The FBI had Omar Mateen dead to rights on obstruction of justice. And you know what they did? They did nothing. Nothing about it. The Pulse nightclub shooting, which murdered a bunch of gays, happened. So if your Gay Lives Matter, wouldn't you be talking? If you're Out magazine, shouldn't you talk about this? No, because you can't make Comey or Mueller look bad. You don't want to say anything critical of your white gods, James Comey, and your white gods, Mueller. These are bow down to them, kneel before them, bow. Don't actually do real journalism. Don't actually speak truth to power. Bow before deep state, shine their shoes, and then lick their boots. And then let them put that big rubbery sole all over your face and smash your face into the ground. That's what they're into. That's what they're doing. So the Pulse nightclub shooting was predictable. It was preventable. The FBI had contact with Omar Mateen, did nothing, chose not to act. Just like with Nicholas Cruz, they did nothing, chose not to act. Just like they knew about Stephen Paddock and the Vegas shooting, chose not to act. And the media, rather than cover this very important story, they're talking about Stormy Daniels. So if you ever had any doubt that the media is fake, if you have ever had any doubt that CNN is no different from the DNC and is no different from the deep state, you now have conclusive proof. All you have to do is ask people, why aren't you reporting on the Omar Mateen thing? It's a bombshell, blockbuster. They're not going to do it. Thanks for watching. Mike Cernovich, Cernovich.com.